Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Vintage Story. But I have gotten a bit of spelt porridge with mashed red currants. They're good for 25 days, roughly, inside of these pots. I got that made up, and I went ahead and smelted up a little bit more copper, like 3 ingots. It's currently raining, so... and it's currently night. I'm just waiting till day. But we have a copper ingot. We also have an axe mold and a shovel mold. I'm going to go ahead and take the... Well, it's still a little bit hot. I could go ahead and sleep, but I'm actually just going to gather up some berries really quickly. And today, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be starting into some actual proper farming. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go get ourselves some soil. Now, we do have medium fertility soil, which long-term we may end up using a bit of that, though probably we're going to stick with terra preta and compost, I imagine. Is that all the berries I've got ripe? I did pick a bunch of them, and I do have some in those jars down there, so this should be fine, though. And our shovel and axe are cooled off, so let's go ahead and grab these. Alright, now we're going to set off over in this direction. We've actually got a lot of terra preta nearby that I've kind of come across and kind of noticed and kept in the back of my mind. I know I marked a couple of them, and a couple of them I didn't mark because they're pretty much in a pretty easy to remember place, so I didn't bother marking them. But Seraphim actually noticed one deposit over here, so we're actually gonna grab that because it's right next to another deposit, and so that way we can go ahead and just get both those deposits of terra preta. And then we should have enough of that for what we're going to be doing today. Unless we just get really unlucky or something somehow and the deposits aren't very big, but I think chances are they'll be plenty big for our needs. And of course, if you don't have access to terra preta, you can always do compost, or even medium fertility soil is perfectly fine for farming, especially if you're going to do it like on a large scale. If you have access to a lot of seeds, especially, and you have a decent sized farmland, you don't have to worry as much, in my opinion. When it comes to the terra preta, you're just going to have to do more in terms of crop rotation, but it shouldn't be a big deal. Yep. I'm going to try to avoid that wolf. It's funny because our detection range is so low that, like, nothing ever notices us. Unless we want it to notice us. So right over here, we've got some terra preta. Right in here. We're going to go ahead and grab that. We'll start off with this basic shovel. We'll see how we come out on terra. It seems like this deposit might be a little on the small side. Yeah. It's not super big. We ended up with 12 terra preta from this one. And you'll notice that the fertility, when tilled, is 80% on this, as opposed to, what is medium? 60, I want to say? Let's see. Let's actually grab some low fertility. And, well, I've got a bunch of medium if I don't come across some, but that way we can kind of just briefly talk about nutrient levels a little bit. A lot of times you'll notice the terra preta pretty easily because it'll spawn, like, say, right here, and you'll notice this really dark dirt. That's a lot of the reason that it tends to be pretty easy to find, but sometimes it's going to be down in the ground, and it's a little bit harder to spot then, of course. Okay, and the rain has cleared up, which is great. Okay, so right over... Actually, I passed it. It's right over here. That's why I marked this one, because it was kind of in a really weird place to try to remember. So this is generally how you're going to find terra preta in my experience. It's just while you're running around, you're going to spot this really dark soil that really stands out. And you can see this deposit here is quite a bit bigger. So we've got 39 at the moment, which is actually going to be sufficient for basically our level of seeds at the moment. But we might go ahead and poke our head around, see if we can spot some more fully grown crops for some extra seeds. Not to mention some extra vegetables for winter. Big clay deposit here. And you'll notice right here, that's kind of what you'll notice on the map if you're looking for clay on the map. So let me go ahead and remove that waypoint because we don't need that anymore. Now there was another deposit of Terra off in this direction, like around the mountain, so we might go ahead and pop over there. Like I said, I think we've got enough for what we're going to be doing today, but while we're out and over here, we could go ahead and grab a little bit more. This area, it's raining. Actually, I want to check this flax while we're over here. Yeah, that one's done. More flax we can get our hands on today, the better. Here's some medium fertility soil. So you can see that low fertility is 25%, medium is 50%, terra preta is 80%. I can't remember the exact fertility of compost. I usually don't do compost because I generally don't have any issue finding the terra preta, so that's usually not a big concern for me. I think it's this way. I actually should have marked this one. It was somewhere over in here. But there's also barren soil. I would probably never plant on barren soil or even low fertility soil, to be perfectly honest, because neither of them are very good. Their fertility is going to be pretty low, and what's going to happen is whenever it tries to regain its nutrients, it's not going to be able to regain all that much. And I believe barren and low fertility soil might be low enough to where the crops won't even successfully, like, fully grow on them. I could be wrong, but because like I said, I've never really planted on low fertility or barren, but I usually go for medium and then terra preta once I start actually getting set up for farms. I've gotten all kinds of turned around. Yeah. Okay, I think I passed it. I came out a little bit too far, but that's okay. I'm actually in these little plains here, and I've been stocking up on flax. There's a lot of flax plants in this plains. I'm going to start heading home here pretty quickly, but let's see what this fellow's got. Not bad, but that's okay. I know where a bunch more terra preta is, so if we need it today, we can pop over and grab that. It's not a big deal. There's also peat here. I've got a couple peat deposits, though, over near our base, so I'm not that worried about peat at the moment. Now, of course, we could break the flax that's not grown. I got a little bit of a jaunt. I should probably start heading back home at this point. We could always break the peat, the seeds that aren't fully grown, but and you know, we could potentially get seeds. It's not 100%. And we're not going to get, like, flax or grain or anything like that, you know, if we were to break, say, flax plants. So I don't personally do it unless I'm really far away from my base, because these areas here I'll end up going back over. So I may come across them, you know, fully grown. But if we go on, say, like a really, really long trip or something like that, I'll probably break more of them. But since we've only really explored, you know, so many 100 blocks away from our base, I haven't bothered breaking crops unless they're fully grown. So, but if you're ever in like a plains type area, just keep an eye out for the terra preta. I think that's the primary place that it spawns. That's generally where it spawns for me, is kind of more like flatland type areas. And like I said, I don't generally have much issue finding it, but I know in some cases it might be a little bit harder to come across. So and if so, there's always compost. And we got fire clay over here. Oh, and once we get back home, there's something I wanted to show you guys that we're going to be making use of here pretty soon. I found it when I was cutting grass last episode, and I forgot to show it to you when we came back for that final cut. I'm actually in terrain that I remember now. So we're almost home. Right here we have a young yellow apple tree. So down the road we'll make use of that. I'm going to for right now, I'm just going to let it grow. I'll probably end up cutting the trees around it. Also, something to bear in mind is crops that you leave behind, if they become fully grown and they don't get harvested, they will eventually go back to their first stage of growth and, redo the process. How far it is, if you think you'll ever be back, you may harvest the seeds. Like I said, I don't, unless we're on a really, really long trip, because you'll just passively collect seeds as you harvest the wild crops that are grown, in my experience, after you've played for a bit, so I don't worry about it too much. Okay, so we're back home. Let me go dump off this grain. Go ahead and get it into our storage jars. I think it's going to be one of those days where it just rains on me a lot. Actually came back with a bunch of grain and quite a bit of seeds. You can see we actually came across 14 flax seeds while we were out, which is great. Alright, now what we're going to do, let me grab this. Let me go ahead and just convert that. Let's go ahead and get ourselves just a couple more linen sacks because we're able to at this point. And I also would like to go ahead and let's make ourselves our very first wooden bucket, because we're going to be using that here in just a moment as well. Alright, and let's figure out exactly where we want our farmland to be. So I'm thinking this path comes up, and it's going to go across to our part of our base that we build up inside that mountain area a bit. So I think what we're going to do, I think I'd like it to line up here to go off in that direction. So what I think we're going to do is we're actually going to be ripping up some of this chert sand. We're going to be doing a little bit of terraforming in this area as we progress. And let's see, that would be the road. We'll do a couple spaces, fence. And I'll be pulling up some of these cranberry bushes. Honestly, I think the water along the sides would be best. Let's go. And we're going to lay out our terra preta right down through here. Now, once again, remember that rabbits are a problem. Watch out for rabbits and plan for those, because they'll eat all your stuff. There is a couple crops. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but there is a few that rabbits don't eat. I know, I want to say onions is one of them. And I want to say that rice also is another crop that rabbits won't eat. But I was wanting to say there's like one more, I think. And then let's go ahead and run another line. I wouldn't mind getting like another 13 terra preta today, I think, because since we're doing these pretty large farmlands, another 13. So we might pop over here shortly and get some more. Okay, so now I know we've got all that soup. I'm just kind of eating berries because I've got so many berries. And then let's see, what do I want to run around this? Probably this will be a good spot for our like medium fertility soil, so it's like nice and dark brown. Because I really don't want all this chert sand visible. Because I want our farmlands to look like really, really rich and vibrant, and chert sand doesn't scream rich and vibrant to me. So we'll do the medium fertility, and then once it gets grass on it, it should look pretty good. And right now we're just going to run a border around this, but we'll change all the rest of this over to medium fertility. Alright, now we're going to take our bucket, and we're going to come over and just right-click that. And then we're going to hold Control and right-click and just put our water down. Which actually I think, we'll just do this. As you can see, super easy to spread your water out. Because anytime there's a water block, it creates an infinite water source. And it means that just a single block of water can be a well for you, if you want to make a well. We'll end up setting up one, well, I'm sure we'll set up a few, but we'll set up one around this building here pretty soon. Probably once we get a chisel. Something like a well, you almost have to have a chisel. Okay, so this will be our first, basically our first field plot, and then we'll do another probably 3 adjacent to it of the same size. And of course, technically, we could make these fields like two wider, right? Because we got water on each side, and it would be hydrating. For example, this line would be hydrating all the way over to here. But when it comes to setting up kind of your more permanent farms, I like to do every basically water going out 2 blocks, and the reason being is because, for example, if we take a look at moisture, I don't have my hoe on me. Sounds like we might have a rift on the other side of the house. That's fine. But if we right-click this, we can take a look and see that the moisture here is 100%. Right-click here. Well, actually, we can't because it's raining. I was like, wait a second, why is our moisture so high? But, yeah, that would be the reason. Derp. Well, anyways, while we wait for the rain to stop so we can talk briefly about moisture with visual aids, we're going to start making armor soon. There is some basic armor that you can make. I can't remember the name of it, but it's made with like wood and stuff. I don't usually make it because it's just not... it's not that great. It breaks after like just a couple hits, and it's usually not too wonderful. I might have the rift in my house. That would be wonderful. If so. Yep, something tells me that that rift... Yeah, it's right there inside my house. Okay. Well, that's fine. It'll go away soon enough. Not that worried about it. This won't be an issue for us, like, long term, once we have things lit up. Oops. But at the moment, it's a little bit of a problem for us. Okay, I'm going to leave this building for right now. Yeah, because there's an awful lot of drifters coming from that that rift right now. So I'm gonna wait that out. Like I said, it wouldn't be a big deal if we had our base like actually set up to where we had lanterns, but that's okay. We're gonna head out over here because, like I said, I wouldn't mind getting like another 13 Terra Preta. Plus, I don't feel like wasting my sword on like an endless army of drifters either. Nighttime's generally not too scary on here. The only exclusion is when there's a rift up, because that means you're going to have drifters spawning because it's dark. But also, something that I do want to mention, just really quick. I'm still kind of waiting for the sun to come up. Right here, you can see your date. So, like right now, it's July 8th. You can also see your time if that's important to you. But you kind of want to be mindful of that because, you know, I've talked about winter and it's going to be coming up before too long. We got enough time to like plant some more crops and, you know, get some more food in for winter. I mean, we've actually probably got enough food that would be good for winter at the moment. We've got a lot of grain just from wild crops this year. But I'd still like to build up more. But just bear in mind that you can check your date there if you need to. So. But yeah, this worked out. I actually got some seeds. I found some more copper that I hadn't seen before, which is always good. And I got our Terra Preta. It took me, I think, a little bit longer because I was trying to find it in the dark. And I've got to go back over there because, like I said, there's another batch of Terra Preta over there. And then there's another one somewhere. Maybe I should have marked them, but that's okay. I found quite a bit of it, though. Oh my gosh, so many drifters. Oh, there's a rift right there. Oh, that's the rift. It's still there, for sure. And it is worth noting that we don't have every crop just yet. There's some crops that, once we start doing ruins, above ground and below ground, we'll have a chance to get those. And then there's some that we're going to have to go out, like soybeans, for example. We're going to have to probably travel out a little bit to find those. And there's some that we just haven't gotten our hands on yet. Like onions, for example. I know where some onions are, but I've got to go back over that way. I should have checked those today while I was out. Well, we got a rift there, rift there. So many rifts. Rift there. Ah. But the sun's up, so... by the way, if you get close to these, you'll notice that our gear down there starts to spin. You don't want to spend a long time around rifts, but if like for example, if I get near this, and we give it a second, you can see the bar has actually gone down. It takes a little bit, but if I get right in there, it'll drop a little bit quicker. You can see that bar starts to go down. I'll be honest, I can't remember what happens if you get it all the way down, but if you get it down like halfway or something like that, why is there so many rifts spawning around here? If you get it down like halfway, you start getting a lot of like these visual things going on, like almost visual bugs. So I don't suggest that you let it get down, but if that happens, all you need to do is just either kill drifters or just give it some time, and it'll get back to normal. And I've got to make another hoe. I'm not at the point just yet where I'm like metal tools all the way, so I still have to make a bit of these. I was actually going to fill up a chest with each napped tool, but I didn't get around to it. So, oh, and also something I should mention, the reason I don't carry around a torch, like, let's say all the time, you know, I carry it around very specific times. If I'm out and it's dark, and I actually need a torch, I'll carry it, but generally I won't, and that's because you actually get, your hunger builds up faster if you're packing a torch around. It's not a big difference, but just bear in mind that that does exist. And you'll want to be kind of mindful of that. And not just pack a torch around all the time. Oh, actually where that rift spawned is probably the worst possible place that it could spawn, because that area in there is actually dark enough during the day that it can spawn drifters. We'll go with some kind of wooden fence. What boards do we have? We have oak boards. That should be fine, I think. Oh wow, I'm like almost out of sticks. And start running our fences. We're just going to go completely around our little farm area. And we'll get rid of some more of the chert sand later and put medium fertility in. So it doesn't look like just a box here, but for right now, this will be good. Oh, I think we're going to have enough. Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to get ourselves some gates. We can make the nice looking gates just like that. I'm going to need sticks though, for sure. Pretty sure I've got more sticks in there, because I thought I had a bunch, but all of a sudden I don't. Alright, so we're going to get 4 gates. And there we go. Just like that, amount of sticks again. Wonderful. And there we go. Now we have ourselves a nice little farmland. Also, you can see the growth speeds here. Like for N crops, P crops, K crops, is 120%. If we were to come over to these fields, for example, you can see that these are only 98%. That's medium fertility soil. 66% there because the nutrients are so low on N. Because I let it run down a bit. You can see these are starting to repair since they've been fallow. Come over here, you can see the same is true with the N crops over here. So, is that rift ever going to go away? It should. Usually they don't last all that long, to be honest. Okay, so we are going to be focusing primarily on grain. It stores the longest, at least for this first batch of farmland. We're going to be going with grain, I do believe. Let's see. Rye is an N crop. Spelt is also an N. Flax is a K. I think we're just going to go half K and half N, maybe. Let me go up here and get our seeds that we've got. We do have a little bit of carrots. Okay, and you don't have to worry about trampling your farmland, as you can see. Like, don't worry about that, because there is no trampling. Let's see, so we got, like I said, K, and of course that means it's going to be consuming K-based nutrients. And then we've got N's. We don't have any that are P at the moment. I want to say onions are a P, I believe. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go half flax because it's multi-purpose. We're going to get food from flax, but then we're also going to be able to get fibers, which we're going to want. I guess we could plant one carrot. Nah, I don't really care about carrots, to be honest. And then we're going to go ahead and plant our spelt. 60 saturation on spelt. I don't have rice at the moment. Flax is only 30. Rye is 60 as well. And amaranth is 60. Yeah, so everything but flax is better as far as a food source goes. But flax is sufficient, and we'll be getting those fibers. So let's go with rye. And we'll just kind of split our field down the middle here since we don't have anything that uses the P nutrient. And it shouldn't be an issue with winter coming up. I don't think we're going to have to worry because our fields will be fallow during the winter and we should get all of our nutrients back. And then we'll just plant turnips the rest of the way for now. That'll be fine. And there we go. Also, you can see the nutrient consumption. Like, for example, turnips are 30, carrots are 40, flax is 50. That's how much nutrients it's going to basically consume from the soil. And certain crops are going to consume more than others. And as far as what the letters mean, P would be phosphate, N is nitrogen, and K is potassium. So, and it all corresponds to, of course, actual crop nutrients that crops consume when they're planted in real life. I'll probably start eating soup soon. I just kind of made that because it's convenient when I don't feel like eating berries, but I've just got so many berries and I feel bad. I'm honestly thinking about, until we get into juicing, just starting to make a lot of rot so that if we want to make some compost, we'll have the ability to do so. So we might do that. Okay, so what we're going to do now, let's dig this up a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and dig a trench. And this trench is going to run right through here, I think. And we're going to have this basically ran between two sets of farmland. So we'll have another farm right over here. And we'll have this trench dug out down through the middle. And then we're going to dig this down, say about right here. Honestly, 2 deep should be fine. And we'll put our ladders in right there and right there. And then what we can do is we can surround this, like, for example, with currant bushes. Just surround it so you won't really be able to see it. I'm trying to make rabbit traps, but make them so that they actually look nice. And we'll be able to chase rabbits into them. So, and that way we can keep rabbits, or we can kill them for meat easily. Because rabbits do give red meat, which is quite good. I'm kind of half tempted to herd up some chickens. We're gonna be starting into animals soon. Let me go ahead and run some medium fertility. I just want to make this area look nice. Oh, we actually have a chicken. What do you know? He must have ran in here. We have a little baby chick. Now, it is possible that a wolf will get down there and consume the baby chick. Oh, that's weird. I guess it's because the reeds are right there, maybe? Alright, so down through here, I guess I'm probably just going to go with the black currants. And I'm just going to fill this in. So that way we don't have to look at a big hole right there. And some of these we may put, like, trees down through them and stuff. We might even remove some of these bushes and end up putting some trees in on this one. Now, another option, if you're not worried about kind of trying to hide things, because in a lot of cases, rabbits are going to come up to this gate and they're going to maybe run around this but not fall in the hole. But as soon as we walk out here, a lot of times it's going to scare them into the hole then. But you could always surround it completely with a trench. I don't like the trenches. You can use them for wolves and things like that too. But generally, just a big moat around your base, I don't like the way it looks. So we're not going to be doing that. But another really good option for a really good rabbit trap is just putting, like, say, terra preta and then putting a trench around that. Rabbits will fall into it, you know, just have a crop growing. And then just a trench around that works out pretty well as well. Alright, now I can go ahead and get my last linen sack at this point. So let me go ahead and do that. Boom, there we go. We now have linen sack inventory. We'll make it a little bit bigger a little bit later on, but for right now that'll be good. Alright, now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and make some more stone paths really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and just make a stack of these. I'd like to make wooden platforms, but I'm going to need the aged planks in order to do that. So, and then we're going to go ahead and get some stairs as well. This field mushroom, fresh for 18 days. That's not too bad. We'll put it in storage. Actually, I think this is my lowest speed at 0.29 times, 81.8 days. We'll store mushrooms in there. And this way we can start having a little bit of some infrastructure going on. I really don't want to scare you down that pit, but maybe for now. No, no, no. You need to go the other way. There we go. Got the mama chicken in there. Let's see if we can get the baby in there. I'll, at least that way I can store them and then I can move them later. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and take all these field mushrooms. I've got a lot of them piling up out here. They actually grow really quick in this area. Okay, now it's about to be night again. So I'm actually going to set back out while I'm waiting for this rift to spawn. I've had quite a few spawn around my base, but never one literally right on top of me like this. And I don't love it. So I've got stuff that I can go do while I'm waiting for the sun to come back up and for this rift to be gone. And also just kind of bear in mind that you don't need to chunk load farms or anything like that on here. Oh, there's a drifter there because there's more rifts over here. Don't you know it? I've got rifts all over the place. I don't know why. Just all of a sudden. I've usually got a few in that area, so it's because I don't really ever worry about what's it called, the stability of an area. I guess that's what I'm going to call it. I never worry about it whenever I'm building. I just find a place that I like and I build there. Like, you know, I'm not really all that worried about if rifts spawn. They're a short-term issue. Like right now, they're kind of annoying for us, but long term, they're really not a concern, so that's why I never worry about them personally. So I just let them do their thing and let them have the base overnight for a couple nights. That's whatever, because we're at the point now where we can easily just go out in the world and explore. There's copper there. We can just explore during the night and not worry too much about it. Plus, I'm still on the lookout for a few types of metals, if we can come across them without the prospecting pick. I may have to spend some time farming up more medium fertility soil here pretty soon as well. Okay, I want to pop you guys in and show you. I used up my entire axe on a single tree here. And I think I'm going to have to eat some berries to even maybe pick up all the wood, because you can see it's right over there. This tree, massive oak tree, and it consumed my entire copper axe. How did I not take fall damage from that? But it was a massive oak tree. You can see I've got a literal ton of oak off of this. And I know there's more, because like right down there is some. Sounds as though drifters finally figured out that I'm here. Okay. I've basically filled up my inventory, I think, at this point with wood. So I'm probably just going to start heading back. It looks like we might have gotten a maple tree as well. Huh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess I'm going to start making my way back. I didn't expect to get that much wood off of that. I was like, I'm going to chop a little bit of wood while it's dark, because I've been needing some more, you know, for building and for making some more firewood, because I want to increase the size of our firewood stack. And I figured I'd chop a little bit of wood tonight, but I got a little bit more than I bargained for. I didn't look at the tree to see how big it was. I was just like, oh, it's a big 2x2 tree. I'm going to chop it down. Okay, we're back home, and it looks like our rift has dissipated now. So, yay. Of course, it starts raining. I've had so much rain. But yeah, right here, you can see the moisture here was dropping. Of course, the rain's gonna fix that for us real quick. But the farther that your crops are from the water, like, for example, these, they would get up to a 75% moisture. These would get up to 50% moisture, and let's pretend this water isn't here. This would get up to 25% moisture. Now, technically, all three of those can grow, and of course, if we go far away from a water source, then there's no moisture, so it doesn't grow. But the more moisture that you have on your crops consistently, the faster they're going to grow, and what, over 50% is ideal. Technically, this is going to be 50%, but it's raining like all the time. I mean, I could always make a watering can and water it. But just the more moisture that we have on our crops, the faster they're going to grow. So that's why we're going to go with a 4 wide, and that way we kind of keep it at that optimal range. And as long as it's raining, like occasionally, we should get, it should keep us over 50% generally on all of our farmland. So we'll get some of that added speed for our crops, which will be nice. We're probably going to be getting into bees in maybe even in the next episode. We'll see. But something that I would like to do really quick, let's go ahead and cut this down. Let's go ahead at this point, get ourselves some more oak fences, like 32 should be good. And then let's go ahead and get ourselves just a gate. And right out here, I'm gonna bring this out a little bit, just flatten this out some. And I'll shape this up a bit more a little bit later. But let's go ahead right in here. Let's put a fence in right there. Like that. We'll have a nice big area here. But what I would like to do at this point, we've got those chickens down there. We can move them. Since we're on the discussion about chickens, we're not going to get into breeding them today. But what we could do is go ahead and get ourselves more chickens. I gotta build the rest of these walls. We'll get to it. It's a process. Building on here, especially early game, it takes a little while, so kind of taking it a little bit at a time. But let's go over here. If you recall, it's going to be a little bit of a trip to get them over. And I may not, you know, when it comes to herding animals, it's a little bit hard single player. It would be a little bit easier with like multiple people. But it's a little bit hard single player to herd a bunch of them at once. But we're going to come around. There's a huge pack of chickens right over in this area. And I'd like to get some chickens going, so that way we could start getting some eggs. Just kind of every, every few days have some eggs. Hello, rabbit. Our lead. I actually found another lead deposit right over there, too. So we do have a couple. Okay, there's one. And what we're going to do is we're going to herd this chicken over towards our house. And just kind of direct it. Go, go, go. Which, well, I'll probably, long term, I'll probably end up moving these chickens a little bit further because, well, I don't know. It's on the side of the warehouse. I imagine I would like to have like a bunch of chicken pens, just because that kind of livens up an area. Go. Go. And I should be able to get it in there now. There we go. So now we got our very first chicken in our brand new chicken coop. Woo. Now we do have these chickens down here. I wouldn't mind moving those also. What we're going to do, we could either build, it's kind of a long section to build a wall. I might lose some chicks, but hopefully I can end up finding them. Actually, probably be easiest just to get the mom first over there. Oh yeah, and I didn't, Go, chicken mom. There we go. Chicken mom's in there now. And the babies are going to try to follow her, so they're probably going to make their way over there on their own. But if not, we can help them out a little bit. Yeah, because see, it looks like they're trying to stay close to her. They're kind of seeing that fenced-in area and thinking like, okay, this is close enough, but let's just do that. Now the babies are back with their mom. And of course, they're going to be terrified of us. That's fine. There we go. But yeah, whenever I spot chickens nearby, I mean, right now, like I said, we got 3 hens. That's going to give us a start. And we can kind of go from there. I tend to have chickens kind of make their way over from time to time, so. We'll just clean that up, and there we go. Now we got a little chicken coop started. And then let's go ahead. I think we're going to go with our flax grain. Let's get a few small troughs. I'm going to go with like 3, maybe, at the moment. And then let's grab some of our flax grain. We're going to go with flax. I would go with flax over like spelt or rye or something, just because it's got less saturation to it. And then let's go ahead and we're going to put out our troughs. We'll probably move them around a little bit later on. But for right now, this will be fine. Because I'm going to end up putting hen boxes and probably a little like covered coop or something like that. But we're going to go ahead and add in some flax grain. This is going to give them enough food for a while. 8 portions. I think they start laying eggs at like 3 or 4. But we're going to start using our flax grain, at least a bit of it, for feeding our chickens. That way they'll start laying eggs for us. We'll start checking our chicken coop each day, at least, you know, maybe in the morning or something like that. If they lay in like the afternoon, it'll still be there in the morning, so that should be fine for us. We'll try to keep an eye on that and get the eggs. Like I said, they will despawn after a bit, but it takes a little while. I also went ahead and built out this second farm. I've got to get some more terra preta and run the water and get some more medium fertility soil and all that. But like I said, I've got a couple more batches of terra preta. I've got 12 here, which will almost finish out a row in that. But then I'm gonna need like 40 more terra preta to fill out this farmland. But that's fine. I mean, this farmland, you can see it's already rolling. We were like 3 out of 9 on flax. It's only been planted here for like a day or something. But once this harvest comes in, I mean, we're going to have enough grain and stuff to keep us filled for the winter. And that way we can work on other projects during the winter. That's my main priority. Like, first year is just getting things in place so that we don't have to worry about winter. So, but anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode, so we're going to end this one out here. Come next episode, we are, like I said, we're probably going to start looking at getting into bees. At least going out and finding some bees. I actually know that back in those woods over there, there's some bees because I've heard them. So we'll probably go figure out where the beehive is over there. And I don't know how much use we'll get out of it this year. With it being late in the year like this, it might be spring before we actually start benefiting from our bees. But if so, that's fine. We might be able to get a little bit of honeycomb before the end of the year, but we'll just have to see. That's why I've kind of slowed off on building, because I'm trying to get at least a few projects done before it starts getting cold on here. and then we can get back into building a bit once we're a little bit more situated. It's mainly agriculture stuff that I'm really wanting to focus on before it gets cold, of course. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out, and I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.